Alright, let's talk about this Ghostbusters 3. The pipe dream of cinematic sequels. The, oh my god, will it actually happen this time? The final boss is Bill Murray. Okay. Ghostbusters 3. This is one of those cases of... It's very hard for me to say what can be said, but let's begin. Let's go back. All right. So how did I get into the Ghostbusters franchise? Well, not through the comics. I got through the cartoon, the real Ghostbusters, and also Extreme Ghostbusters. By the way, when the new female Ghostbusters was airing on, why didn't people talk about Extreme Ghostbusters more? I mean, that had a female member and everything, and people just kind of forgot. Are movies the only thing that count anymore for representation? I mean, come on. It also had a Latino Ghostbuster, a disabled Ghostbuster, mildly pudgy Ghostbuster. Joking aside, look, Ghostbusters has been a long franchise, and the idea that it's a franchise as a whole might be weirded out to some people, because to some people, it's only the movies. To some, it's the movies, the video games, the comics, the cartoons, everything in between. Ghostbusters was an actual franchise at one point. I had a bunch of the action figures as a kid. I had the cartoon as a kid. Both cartoons. Ghostbusters is important to a lot of people. It developed a fandom. I've seen Ghostbusters fan films. Those exist. It's a lot more than you think. So Ghostbusters to a lot of people is big. Way big. So Ghostbusters 3 has been on and off in development since the 90s. Way more than you think. And the project kind of stalled when the Ghostbusters reboot happened. And, my god, do I want to go back to that controversy? I can hear the horrifying sounds even now. But no, Ghostbusters 2016, as I call it, I don't like using the name Answer the Call. That sounds dumb to me. Ghostbusters 2016 was not that great a film to me. It had some good points to it, but it has the big issue of missing the joke about the original Ghostbusters, because it had... Alright, I'm going to tell you the joke of the original Ghostbusters, and this might ruin it for you. The Ghostbusters are schlubs. They're exterminators. Heck, you know, I wanted one joke from Ghostbusters 2016. And I'm shocked that they didn't do this joke. They have PhDs and they can't get a job out in the real world, so they have to schlub it as exterminators.
What are you supposed to be, some kind of a cosmonaut?
No, we're exterminators. Somebody saw a cockroach up on 12.
Like, that wasn't a joke, they thought? In this modern context where people have these college degrees and having part-time finding jobs?
Do you believe in UFOs, astral projections, mental telepathy, ESP, clairvoyance, spirit photography, telekinetic movement, full trance mediums, the Loch Ness Monster, and the theory of Atlantis?
If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say.
I don't know, that seems pretty obvious to me. But Ghostbusters was developed, and one of the things you have to understand going into that, and here's the thing, the hatred for... There was clearly obvious hatred because some of them, the cast was female. I'm not going to say there wasn't any, there was. But to understand one of the big problems is, there's something that was underreported on during this period, was the fact that Sony got hacked, and we could actually read all their emails about it, and thus could see into the minds of the people making this movie.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
This wasn't a secret. If you were on the Ghostbusters Reddit at the time, you would see people actually discussing what Amy Pascal was discussing with Paul Feig about the reboot. So people were kind of already judging it because guess what? We knew what they were thinking. We could see them cut people out of the process. We could see them threaten Bill Murray with a cameo if he didn't do anything. I'm not kidding. You can actually go back in time and read these emails and see what scummy things Amy Pascal did to get this movie. And if you saw that, you might not be a fan going into it. Believe me, it did color my perception a bit, seeing what she was thinking, what she was doing. Threatening people I liked in the film. There's emails about her messing with the original director of Ghostbusters to make this film. Because he owned the copyright. That's kind of the level of scumbag dickery we're dealing with when we're talking about Ghostbusters 2016. We could see the machinations behind everything, which made it a very different feeling film. Because they got hacked. Heck, if you want to know something, like the Spider-Man channels, the Spider-Man fans also could see what was going on at the time. Writing was on the wall. So, Ghostbusters 3 coming out at all is shocking to me because of the colossal, well, we don't have a Ghostbusters cinematic universe after that film. I guess it's a failure. And the truth of the matter is, I don't know what I would want out of a new Ghostbusters film at this point. The original, we're missing Harold Ramis, which is sad. We're missing, a lot of them are just old now, and it might be very hard to go back into. I would love to see a new generation of Ghostbusters introduced. And hell, I don't care what the ratio of male to female is. If they do, as long as the story's good. I want a good Ghostbusters film, if we get another one. But it's very hard to know what will happen, because Amy Pascal is still at Sony, and oh my god, if you could read her emails, you'll only see horror, death, crime, rage.
Enough! I get the point!
Yeah, look, Amy Pascal's... As much as I'm blaming her, there's other factors into that. What she did with the Ghostbuster project, and like I said, please look this stuff up, was sickening on some level. And seeing that end of the spectrum makes me not have faith. If this movie does go on, I want the creators of Ghostbusters, the director, the writer, Dan Aykroyd, to get as much freedom and with this movie as possible. It might not be a good film, but to tell you the truth, I respect people who create things and do it and want to tell more stories with it. It might not be good, but the fact is, if we're going to get one, then I hope they're able to tell the story the way they want it. It might... Because, let me put it this way. Sometimes it's hard to hear your stories aren't good. And I get that. But I want to see what their story is. Because ultimately, they're the guys who created Ghostbusters. And if they're going to continue it, I want it to be on their terms. And right now... Because guess what? At the end of the day, creators matter. And the fact that they didn't get a single real influencing decision on the 2016 Ghostbusters is a sore spot to me. Because guess what? They were the ones who created the franchise. And to see it taken away and then given back, I hope Sony gives them whatever they want. It might not be good, but at least it's theirs.
When the things that slither in the shadows keep you up late at night, when there's something lurking in your